a sky that turns dark in an instant, a deep rumble rising from beneath the ground. And within seconds, the mountain explodes. In this video, you're about to witness 10 of the most terrifying volcanic eruptions ever caught on camera. Some were so close, people barely made it out alive. Others were so massive, even satellites in space felt the shock. This isn't just lava, this is nature at its most furious. Here are the 10 most jaw-dropping volcanic eruptions of recent years. In the southwest of Iceland, the REYKJANES Peninsula shocked the geological world in 2021. After thousands of years of silence, it suddenly awakened. But this wasn't just a single eruption. In the following years, volcanic activity was observed in more than 5 different locations in the same region. As the lava slowly approached nearby towns, terrifying footage was captured on camera. Sometimes a red glow lit up the night sky. Other times it was black smoke darkening the day. REYKJANES is now known as Iceland's new volcanic zone. One of the scariest moments was the evacuation of the town of Grindavik. In just a few hours, roads cracked open and lava reached some homes. In 2024, a construction worker lost his life in the lava flow, the region's first recorded fatality. As lava fountains reached up to 300 meters, emergency crews tried to divert the flow, but Iceland wasn't the only place waking up from volcanic silence. In southern Europe, another giant was stirring beneath the surface. On the island of Sicily, Italy's Mount Etna roared back to life in recent years, reminding the world why it's Europe's most active volcano. From 2021 to 2023, multiple eruptions shook the landscape, sending rivers of molten lava slowly creeping toward nearby villages. In 2023, a massive eruption even forced the temporary closure of Catania Airport. As ash and smoke clouded the skies, lava fountains soared up to 400 meters, lighting the night with an eerie glow. Villagers watched anxiously as thick plumes of ash turned the sky dark, and the air filled with the smell of sulfur. Despite the destruction, Etna's slopes remain a vital source of fertile soil and tourism, a reminder of nature's power and generosity. Every eruption reshapes the land and the lives of those living in its shadow. From the mountains of Sicily, we now cross continents and oceans to reach the middle of the Pacific, where a volcano doesn't just shape the land, but tells a story of fire, gods, and unstoppable power. Rising from the ocean floor, Hawaii's Kilauea volcano erupts, not just lava, but legend. In the massive 2018 eruption, over 700 homes were swallowed by lava, and entire neighborhoods vanished from the map. When lava reached the ocean, it sent toxic gases billowing into the sky. Roads collapsed, the land reshaped itself, and new landmasses formed off the island's southern coast. Intermittent summit eruptions between 2020 to 2023, and a new eruption beginning in December 2024, remind the world that Kilauea is still very much awake. But for Hawaiians, this volcano is not just a threat, it's the sacred home of Pele, the goddess of fire. From the Pacific Islands, we now head north, to one of the coldest and most remote volcanic regions on Earth. Here, beneath the snow-covered peaks of Russia's Far East, a sleeping giant comes to life in fire and fury. Located in Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula, KLYUCHEVSKAYA SOPKA is both the country's tallest volcano and one of its most active. Its 4,750-meter peak may be snow-covered, but it often turns into a glowing chimney of lava. In major eruptions like those in 2020 and 2023, ash plumes reached heights of up to 14 kilometers, higher than most commercial aircraft fly. Flight paths across the Pacific were rerouted, and nearby villages were blanketed in ash. Its lava fountains lit up the night sky, a hellish glow against the polar darkness. KLYUCHEVSKAYA doesn't just dominate Russia's volcanic landscape, it delivers some of the most spectacular eruptions on Earth. Now we journey to Southeast Asia, where volcanic eruptions meet monsoon rains, and destruction comes not just from the sky, but also from the mud. Towering above the island of Java, Mount SEMERU is Indonesia's tallest volcano, and one of its most unpredictable. In December 2021, it unleashed a violent eruption, sending pyroclastic flows rushing down its slopes at terrifying speeds. But it wasn't just the lava. The heavy rainfall that followed turned ash into deadly mud flows, burying villages and cutting off entire roads. Over 10,000 people were forced to flee their homes, with at least 57 lives tragically lost. Rescue teams struggled to reach the worst-hit areas as entire communities disappeared under volcanic debris. Another major eruption followed in December 2022, prompting the evacuation of thousands more and raising the volcano's alert status to its highest level. SEMERU's name comes from Meru, the sacred mountain in Hindu-Buddhist tradition. But when this mountain roars, it feels more like a curse than a blessing. From Java's highest peak, we now shift our focus just a bit westward, to another fiery giant that commands respect and fear. Indonesia's Mount Merapi is one of the world's most active volcanoes and poses a major threat to millions living nearby. The devastating 2010 eruption claimed 341 lives and forced nearly 350,000 people to flee their homes. Pyroclastic flows raced down its slopes at lethal speeds, while ash clouds rose several kilometers high, blanketing entire regions and closing airports across Indonesia. Over 2,000 homes were destroyed, wiping out entire communities. The 2018 eruption sent ash plumes soaring 6 kilometers into the sky, once again forcing airport closures and threatening settlements below. Merapi's relentless activity offers scientists unique opportunities to study volcanic behavior, but for the millions living in its shadow, each rumble from the mountain serves as a chilling reminder of nature's destructive power. From the lush landscapes of Indonesia, we now travel to Central Africa, where one of the world's most dangerous volcanoes churns with molten fury. Mount NYIRAGONGO is one of Africa's most active volcanoes and has some of the fastest lava flows on Earth. The devastating 2021 eruption sent rivers of lava racing toward the city of Goma, forcing over 230,000 people to flee their homes in panic. Though the lava flow stopped just short of the city center, the destruction was catastrophic. At least 31 lives were lost, over 3,500 homes were destroyed, and nearly 200,000 people were left without access to clean water. This wasn't NYIRAGONGO's first assault on human life. The 1977 eruption killed around 2,000 people when lava reached speeds of up to 100 kilometers per hour. The volcano's permanent lava lake is a mesmerizing sight for geologists, but for the 2 million people living in its shadow, NYIRAGONGO represents one of the world's most terrifying natural time bombs. From Africa's volcanic fury, we now sail across the Pacific Ocean to a remote island where an underwater volcano unleashed one of the most powerful eruptions in recent history. Tonga's HUNGA volcano erupted with catastrophic force on January 15, 2022. This underwater giant sent a volcanic plume soaring 58 kilometers into the mesosphere, the highest ever recorded for any eruption. The explosion was so massive that its sonic boom was heard over 10,000 kilometers away, reaching as far as Alaska and New Zealand. The eruption triggered devastating tsunamis with waves up to 20 meters high, claiming at least 4 lives in Tonga and reaching coastlines across the entire Pacific Ocean. The shock waves circled the Earth multiple times, registering on atmospheric sensors worldwide. This was the largest submarine eruption since Krakatoa in 1883, making it not just a regional disaster, but a global phenomenon that reminded humanity of the ocean's hidden volcanic power. From the vast Pacific, we return to Indonesia, where numerous volcanoes continue their restless activity, including one that has become alarmingly hyperactive, Mount Ibu. Located on remote Halmahera Island, Mount Ibu has transformed from a quietly monitored volcano into one of Indonesia's most explosive threats. Since 2019, its activity has escalated dramatically, but 2024 marked a terrifying turning point. The volcano averaged 58 eruptions per day throughout 2023, but by early 2025, it had already unleashed over 1,000 eruptions in January alone. Ash plumes regularly soar 5 kilometers into the sky, while pyroclastic flows race down its slopes. Over 1,900 residents have been evacuated from 7 surrounding villages, with authorities maintaining a 7-kilometer exclusion zone around the crater. Mount Ibu has become a relentless force of nature, a stark reminder that Indonesia's 120 active volcanoes can awaken with devastating fury at any moment. From Indonesia's volcanic heartland, we now move to the Philippines. Home to Mount KANLAON, one of the country's most active and imposing volcanoes that has entered a dangerous new phase of activity. Mount KANLAON has become alarmingly hyperactive since 2024, unleashing a series of explosive eruptions that have terrorized the Visayas region. After remaining relatively quiet since 2017, the 2,435-meter giant roared back to life in June 2024, affecting over 57,000 people and forcing mass evacuations. The eruptions have continued relentlessly. December 2024, April 2025, and May 2025, each sending ash plumes soaring 4 kilometers into the sky and generating deadly pyroclastic density currents. As one volcanologist warned, being hit by these volcanic flows is like being run over by a high-speed vehicle. With a 6-kilometer danger zone now enforced around the crater, KANLAON has transformed from a monitored threat into an active menace, reminding the Philippines that its position on the Pacific Ring of Fire comes with a devastating price. Each eruption reveals just how majestic and merciless nature can be. Sometimes, survival is just a matter of seconds. Other times, entire landscapes are changed forever. Volcanoes don't just erupt lava, they erupt stories, beliefs, and history. If this power moved you, subscribe to the channel, and let's witness nature's next fury together. Remember, this wasn't just a list. This was the voice of a living planet.